Okay, so one of the next steps is going to be to wax inject your molds. So I'm going to show you real quickly. This is our wax pot. In order to turn it on, I'm going to take the ball valve and I'm going to turn it in line with the pipe. So in line means that it's on, perpendicular means that the air pressure is off. Right now, this pressure gauge is at about 70 psi. It doesn't really go above that for this particular one. And then you're going to see a PSI on the front of the wax pot. And that's going to be what you're going to adjust every once in a while. So to adjust it, you pull out the little yellow tab and turn left or counterclockwise. So lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, and you can release some gas. So right now it's at 5 PSI, somewhere around, and it's dropping a little bit. So somewhere around 4 or 5 PSI usually works for most molds, but it all depends on the particular mold. So I'll go ahead and try one. I have a bunch of these sitting ready to go. Any of the previous wax that you haven't used can go in this cup, and then it can eventually go in this cup if it's clean. Anytime that you've created a new mold, which I'll show in a little bit, you want to throw out your first wax mold no matter what, because it kind of has burnt parts and all kinds of stuff in it, and so we don't want to mix that back into the pot. But we're saving any clean wax so that we can put it back in the pot. I've already sprayed these, and so I only really want to spray them probably on the first go. And so you just take out this jewelry mold release and spray one side or both sides, and then that'll last for a while. So mine, I can tell, is especially ready to go. I have these two little plexi pieces, and I put a hair holder around it. And then I'm going to do like a little sign of the cross to allow air to escape, and then I pull it straight up. And I'll show that close up as well. Okay, again, you can see that I have my mold ready. I'm going to place it in the plexiglass blanks. I place it down to the side, little cross, and then sit it straight up. Set it to the side. I'll do another one. And I'm watching my pressure right now. It's at 4 PSI, which is where I want it. But since I just adjusted it, I might have to adjust it again. So I have even pressure on the outside of both of these plexi pieces. And then once I see that wax come up, set it up straight. Let's do one more. You're going to find that sometimes it depends which side of the mold you put the wax into, and you might get a better pour there. You also will maybe figure out how many seconds it takes, because they're all a little bit different. And then the last thing that you'll find out is whether your PSI is high enough or whether it needs more. So some of these you can see that I was trying out my PSI and it didn't all the way go. So I will just save that wax and do it again. So oddly enough, using a wax injector takes just as much touch as everything else we do. So it takes just a little bit of time to get used to it. I just turned up my pressure just a little bit, pulled that out and turned righty-tighty or clockwise. Okay, so you'll want to do this in between working. So we have our brand new mold at the wax injector. Let's see if this works. So I'm going to take my mold release. I spray in, and then I won't need that again. I'm going to take my plexiglass, put it on two sides, wrap my hair holder around, And then now I have to wait. And our plexiglass things say, be patient, grasshopper. Just for a reminder. Here's another mold that's ready to go. So generally whenever I pull one out, I like to twist the button off, put it back in the cup. Anything I can clean up with my fingernails, I do. And then I'll have just a little bit of sanding to do for that before I put it into a tray. So here's kind of an odd video, but something that we need to know how to do. So first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to turn off my wax pot. It's been on for a while, so it's nice and hot. I'm going to turn off my pressure. And I usually release a little bit of that pressure by pushing in the wax. So all the wax that I can clean up, I have in these two different containers. And it's all clean wax. So once you unscrew these a little bit, you'll hear the pressure release and you'll see the pressure go down to 0. And on this particular one, you just turn it. It's kind of a cavity. You can dump that other wax in. And then I'm going to just go ahead and dump some more wax in. And remember, everything's hot, so okay. Put this here. You want your gloves back on. Turn this back. Tighten both of these down. Okay, and it's ready for the next person.